Hello everybody, my name is Bigpot. Today we are checking out MicroK8s. Let's begin, shall we? MicroK8s, sometimes also known as MicroKubernetes or MicroK8s, is a snap package in which we can find a Kubernetes node and other Kubernetes related tools. It can be run in a single node configuration or multi-node configuration, including high availability. It can be used in different environments like development environment, test environment, home lab, and can even be used for edge deployments with its ability to run a high availability configuration. But now let's jump into the terminal and look at how to install MicroK8s. To install MicroK8s, run the command sudo snap install MicroK8s, and because it is a classic snap, we need to add the flag -classic, and at this point we can also add a flag -channel to select the version of Kubernetes we want to run, which makes MicroK8s great for testing environments. For example, we can do -channel equals 1.21 to run Kubernetes version 1.21. Now we need to enter our user's sudo password and we wait for it to install. This normally takes about a minute or two, depending on if you have to download it. Like I didn't, because I did have to take a couple of takes. As you see it installed, MicroK8s is made by Canonical, same company who makes Ubuntu and Snap. Now, but before we can start using MicroK8s, we need to add our user to MicroK8s group. So sudo user mod -a capital G MicroK8s and the username of the current user or the user we want to be using in MicroK8s. So that would be, in my case, Bigpot. This is required so the user has access to all of the features or many of the features that don't require escalation of privileges of MicroK8s. And now we're ready to use MicroK8s. Now before we start using MicroK8s, we may also want to add a user to the MicroK8s group so the user can more easily access MicroK8s commands. We can do that by doing a command sudo user mod -a capital G MicroK8s and the name of the user. In my case, that will be Bigpot. Now user can run MicroK8s commands without having to require the use of sudo command. And let's just now jump into how to actually use MicroK8s, shall we? To manage your MicroK8s cluster, MicroK8s provides command MicroK8s. As you can see, there are many subcommands available for it. Let's begin with node management. To add a node, we can use commands add node and join commands. And to remove them, commands remove node and leave are used. Now let me fire up a VM and I will show you how to add nodes to the cluster and then remove them. To add a node to cluster, you need to first go on the main node where you run MicroK8s add node command, which will output multiple join commands. Find one with correct IP address for network you're joining through. For me, this is the 122 subnet, since I am running second node in a virtual machine. The join command is composed of MicroK8s join, IP address and port, and a long string of characters which represents a key of sorts. Now let's copy the whole thing and paste in our second terminal here, which is actually SSH into the second machine, which is running in a virtual machine. Now this process can take a minute or two, so let's sit back and relax. Now to see if we really added this node to the cluster, we will issue the command MicroK8s kubectl get nodes, which will tell us basic information about all nodes. As you can see, we have 2 nodes connected. We should also know the name of the second node. We just added for later when we want to remove it. Now let's see how the removal process actually looks. To remove a node, we run few commands. On node we want to remove, we just run MicroK8s leave. And now this can run for a few minutes as well, so let's wait it out. So now we must go to the main node where we run MicroK8s remove node, and the name of the node, which in our case means MK8S test. The name of the node most likely will be the name which we saw in the get nodes, MicroK8s kubectl get nodes, and it's most likely equal to the host name. Now, this didn't take that long, right? Now we just need to check if it's actually fully removed from the cluster. So we're gonna execute MicroK8s kubectl get nodes again, and we see there is only 1 node in the cluster. This is how you remove a node from MicroK8s Kubernetes cluster. Now, if we go back to checking out other stuff, we can see MicroK8s provides its own instances of Helm, the Kubernetes package manager, and kubectl tool, which is one of the main ways administrators communicate with the cluster. These tools are installed inside a snap so they don't go in conflict with configuration you already have installed and are pre-configured for MicroK8s cluster. But if you wish to export the configuration, you can use the config subcommand. One of the great features of MicroK8s, especially for users who use it as a dev environment, are the start and stop command, which start and stop the services that run behind the node. Also, there is the reset subcommand, which allows you to reset the current node to how it was right after installation. Now, another great feature of MicroK8s has got to be the add-on system. To enable an add-on, we use enable subcommand. And to disable, we can use disable subcommand. To check what add-ons are enabled and disabled, we can use the status subcommand. Let's check them out. So here we go. We also see that MicroK8s is running and where its main data store is, and if it has any standby data nodes which are required for HU configuration, and if HU configuration is actually active. For HU configuration to be active, you need at least 3 nodes. Now we see only 1 add-on enabled. It is HA cluster. If we disable it, it will disable the capability for HA configuration, and with that, even if we had 3 or more nodes, it wouldn't run an HA configuration. Now let's look at some other add-ons, like DNS, which allows us to enable core DNS as an internal DNS. Ingress, which deploys Nginx as ingress controller into the cluster. Other alternatives for ingress controller are also available, for example, Ambassador and Traffic. You can also enable Dashboard, Metal LB, a load balancer for Kubernetes, and many more. For some of these, you will have their control programs packaged in MicroK8s. For example, one of these is East.io, East.io, and its companion program is called East.io CTL. So let's return to other subcommands. If we want to inspect the node, we can use MicroK8s inspect, which will inspect your node and output a report in a file. MicroK8s uses Kubernetes diff for the container daemon, which can be checked and controlled with command MicroK8s ctr, but it will require escalated privileges. If you want to learn more about MicroK8s and how to use it, you can check its website at microk8s.io or check its Snap Store page. Both links can be found in the description below. Thanks everybody for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to click the like button. If you want to see more content from me, subscribe. And don't forget to ring the notification bell. Also, if you have any questions or comments, you can use the comment section down below. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.